Good morning. It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we have to shift our perspective, we have to shift our energy, we have to flow with energy. We have to find those places, those points of intersection between ourselves and the people that we focus on in our life, and try to see how we are reflecting back to them and adjust. Thank you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here this morning, and let us begin. I'm tired. I felt tired when I woke up. There's really no reason. So could be just energetic. Or just exhaustion, just sheer exhaustion. So there is some reason that you're here right now. I don't know what that reason is for you, but for me, I definitely have an idea of what it is that I think that I need that will make me feel better. And hold that, whatever that is for you, just hold that in your mind right now. Whatever that thing is, that is most likely inspired by your ego. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that there is an illusion that you think that when you get this, you're going to feel better because your ego has convinced you of this. But I want to hone in and see, what do we actually need? What is something we actually need? And today, we would benefit after hearing these messages and walking away from them. We would, wow. Okay, so I think this is an interesting thing that's happening. For those of you who are not members of my site, for the last couple of times that has happened, that there has been really important cards that have come up during the reading on the website, they have returned to the regular free reading. So I think it's like the universe doesn't want you to miss these messages, because our theme again, and it was the theme from yesterday or from Saturday, because it was sitting on my desk, is the Six of Pentacles again, reciprocity, and this new creativity oracle card that says confidence. Know and feel this affirmation beyond a doubt. I am all that I need to get what I want. So it's interesting because I told you to think about what you thought you needed. And this card is telling you, I am all that I need to get what I want. That's the message that you need to hear today. This is what will actually make you feel better. The confidence to know that you are all that you need to receive the reciprocity that you desire. And this was the reciprocity, honestly. For me, I was thinking, I really want just to have like conversation, communication with a person, just so that I can, rather than feel the relationship starting, I can also, 7:55 on the clock and 3:22 on the timer when I looked at it, I can also sense materially what I feel intuitively. So I want to see a material manifestation, and it doesn't have to be big. Like I'm not like, oh, I want, to get married tomorrow. But I want to have conversations about what I know we both want to have conversations about. So that was the thing that I thought I needed. And what's interesting is that whatever it was that you thought you needed today, what you're being told is you are all that you need to get whatever you want. So my worthiness is enough to receive communication from someone. I am all that I need to get what I want. All right, I love that energy. It's also kind of like a strength card energy for me, which is my stalker card if you've been watching me the last little while. All right, Divine Masculine gets to go first today because he had more cards showing than Divine Feminine today. Both Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine have overthinking, an equal amount of overthinking in the head space, and it seemed that they were both reasonable in the heart space. So their feelings are in check. Their head space is a little wonky. That sounds about right. All right, so the top of the deck, overall head space for Divine Masculine energy And remember, this is the energy within yourself. You may reflect upon another person and see their energy within this, but this is your own masculine energy. So you have to figure out how this is true for you and your person, not just yourself, if you want to start to shift and change the energy within you. Okay. Otherwise, you're just going to keep coming to the readings. Eventually, mine, you'll probably won't resonate with mine anymore, because the people in my collective keep honing in on this concept of the masculine feminine. So they keep shifting, healing, changing, growing, and coming closer into being all that they need to get what they want, type of a feeling. So if you don't sort of reflect upon this energy as being your own, you'll watch me for a while, and then you'll get frustrated because you'll be like, well, nothing's happening, because you're actually not shifting with the collective. So just keep that in mind. So Divine Masculine had space first thing on his mind, and I'm just using good old Smith Waite today, is the Ace of Swords upright. This is a card about communication, truthful communication, and it's the communication of new ideas and new thoughts. It's not really a card that's talking a lot about somebody who's going to come and talk to you about the past. And it's funny. Maybe I feel like there's probably some people who want to hear about the past. They want to hear what happened. But this masculine right now is just only thinking about going forward into the future, and seeing very clearly that where that future is going to take him. This is like gaining clarity. It's like feeling like, okay, it's time to tell the truth to myself and to the feminine energy, to be very clear that I want this future. The niggling thing, as I call it, in the back of the mind is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So masculine has made some kind of a decision. He's no longer going back and forth about this. The decision has been made. Good morning, Christina. So, and this is underlying all of his thoughts and all of his decisions about the future is whatever this decision was. And for me, it has something to do with the eternal connection. And I see like he wants to stop doing this dance, like playing this game kind of an energy. So the masculine is like, so think about this from your own perspective instead of a person. If you're a feminine identifying individual, doesn't matter what your bits are. But so right now you're seeing clearly what you want for the future. And you know that you're deciding that you do not want to engage in these back and forth empath narcissist paradigm dynamics, right? That's something that we know. So the masculine is also reflecting this back to you, the masculine person you're focused on. The masculine energy has been dealing with a lot of responsibility. This is the first thing on his mind right now. And the first thing on his mind is usually a reflection about the past. That's how I read the placement that I have. So he's reflecting upon the burdens he carried and was unwilling to put on the feminine because he wanted to protect her from just the messes that he had made, the things he needed to do and clean up. And he wants this feminine's life to be easy, to flow, to go. He doesn't want to have to see her doing this struggling, or her. He wants to really protect her from that. There is an old paradigm here, wanting to take care of the feminine energy, wanting to provide for her, wanting to protect her, wanting to be the one that is responsible for her well-being. But remember, this is in the past. So he's reflecting about how his unwillingness to unburden himself was about these old paradigms. Because remember, he's seeing new ideas. This crown chakra activation is happening, and there's peace that's coming with it. So he's reflecting upon how in this behavior that he had, which was trying to protect the feminine from his burdens, he was actually just blocking himself from access to the feminine. It was like he is in this position, even though he was thinking that he was keeping her protected from anything coming in and getting her. And that meant also other people, other parties. It was like what he was doing, how he was withholding the communication was how he would control the feminine, which he was telling himself was protecting her. I just got, because the truth is, I just heard, because the truth is that if you don't speak, if the feminine speaks to you, like let's say I go into my person's DMs, okay? And the only thing that is left to happen between the two of you is this conversation, which is hanging heavily over you. And you don't communicate. You are prolonging the time that the feminine is willing to engage with you because she feels that communication coming. She can feel you holding on to this, right? And to a certain extent, the masculine is aware that divine feminine, good morning, Elizabeth. I am good today. I hope you're well. Thank you. The feminine is feeling like, or he's feeling like the feminine is protecting herself also from this communication as well. So that's something that's active for him too. Like, not only did he not want to burden her, which is one of the main reasons he hasn't talked about it, because I feel like this masculine feels like while he's been dealing with releasing his karmic attachments, whether that's to a job, a belief system, or a person, it doesn't really matter what it is, whatever he's been working on. For many, it has been another partner, or multiple partners, or lifestyle choices like addictions, etc. So rather than burden this feminine with the cleanup, because every time he would have to go communicate, it's like she would talk to him and say these lovely things because divine feminine is trying to be sweet, nectar. And then the masculine would feel at a loss because really all that he could communicate with her would be like, yeah, I'm still working on my stuff. That's literally a comment I got from my masculine, like, still working on my stuff. And then there would be no information about it. But the reason why is because the masculine doesn't want to be this person that comes into your life and just complains about the dumb shit that he's dealing with. He wants to be able to have the conversation that you both really want to have, but he can't have that with you yet. So that's why there's been this withholding energy. And it's like keeping the feminine from moving on because she's expecting that conversation. The World card in reverse. We saw a ton of reversals yesterday in the reading with Grace Strega. If you missed it, you can see half of it. Mercury retrograde killed the first half, although there was some secrets in that, so that's probably why that was killed. But you can see the second half, which was very beautiful, honestly, and also an hour or so that's still on Instagram on Grace Strega's profile. And there was a ton of reversals in her reading, which indicated like a big shift or a big change coming. And she actually got the world in reverse. And she talked about how the world in reverse is about, it's not that big of a deal because the world is always turning, obviously. Like that's what the world does. So getting it in reverse is not really that big of a deal. It's just indicating this cycles energy. What I'm seeing is that divine masculine is really, he really does not want an ending. It's more of what I said, because the next card that's coming up is the Knight of Swords in reverse. So it's exactly what we were seeing in the first placement. This is obviously on his mind because he is withholding communication, this Knight of Swords energy, because he doesn't want this to be over with feminine. So something that masculine has to tell feminine he fears will end things with her. Or he feels that if he doesn't communicate with her soon, it will end things. So there's this feeling of like, I don't want to tell her, hey, I want to be with you, but I got to clean up some stuff. Because I know that other masculines have done that to her before. So I'm just not going to tell her that I want that right now. But if I don't tell her, then she's probably going to leave because there's really no reason for her to stick around if the only thing I'm saying is like, cool, great, thanks, Have a nice day. So this communication, this lack of communication, he's first of all, this is his headspace. So he's coming up with all these stories about why he's not communicating, all this bullshit. And the truth is, he just doesn't want to feel vulnerable, because that's at the center of the world. Embracing your vulnerability. When you end a cycle, you're finally accepting something. You're taking accountability. You're no longer going to engage in the cycle. And we know that he wants to do that because here's that Two of Pentacles where he's like, I want to end this cycle of back and forth kind of stuff. But he's withholding communication because he doesn't want to feel vulnerable. Clarifying the Ten of Wands upright and the Eight of Swords upright is the Hermit. Y'all know how I feel about the Hermit if you were there yesterday. And the King of Cups in reverse. So again, this is reflecting upon the past. And this is exactly what he's done. In order to protect the feminine, he stayed in Hermit energy and withheld communication. So look, she is protecting herself from him because he hasn't communicated. And he is protecting himself from her by staying in Hermit energy and not communicating. So we know this. We know this is what's been going on because this is what all the readings have been telling us for the fucking 3 months now. And rather than end the cycle, he's just continuing to sit here in this Four of Cups energy. I hate this. This is staying in fantasy. This is not accepting this offer, not accepting the offer with the feminine, not ending the cycle with her, but just sitting there and fantasizing about it. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Like literally just the Beach Boys playing right now while he sits on a beach somewhere. Like, I'm just like, okay. Jesus Christ. This Knight of Swords in reverse. It's being clarified by the card that is associated with reunion, benevolence, generosity, the past, bliss, karmic connections from the past, including the one between the divine feminine and masculine. People are like, oh my God, karmic connection. It's like, it means that they're cheating. It's like, no, bitch, you're a karmic connection. If you're a twin, you're karmic to that person. You teach them. That's literally what a fucking twin does. Just because you put the word karmic in front of it doesn't mean that somebody is getting their dick sucked by a random person. If they are, it's part of your karma and theirs. So relax. You are a karmic partner for your twin, even if they're your soulmate. People mislabel that all the time. They're like, there's karmic partners and there's soulmates and there's a twin. Okay, well, all of those people you learn lessons from. So there isn't karmic partners, a soulmate, and a twin. There's soulmates. All of them. Every single one of them. My ex-husband was a soulmate. One that I don't want to spend any more time with. Every single person that you interact with is a soul that you have an opportunity to learn from. It's a different version of yourself. It's 8:11 on the clock. It's how you are projecting in this reality in this way, because we are all one consciousness. So your twin is your karmic partner too. They are from your past. You have had many cycles with them. And also, I don't know that there is such a distinguishing feature between the twin and a soulmate. I really do feel that the twin is an energy, the flame, the twin flame energy, which is really you inside. You didn't incarnate as a soul and then divide. I don't know where that came from, except from Plato. Plato told the story about at some point on the earth, humans were actually one thing and they rolled around, and that they literally rolled on the ground and then they separated. This is an allegory that he's saying. And for some reason, people take this as the origin of the twin story. It's really not. Because it's actually what Plato is talking about is the idea of divine masculine and feminine not being black and white, because some of the souls were both feminine and some were both masculine. It's a way for him to talk about fluidity of the internal feeling within inside of self. And that it's called twin flame because it's an energy that burns and refines you so that you can understand love. And you will often experience that with a past life person or someone in your current life that you've had many past interactions with, many karmic interactions with, so that they can teach you the lesson. I don't think anymore that there is just one single twin and then there's soulmates and the twin is a higher level relationship. I think that that is not true. Whoever is saying that, I would love for them to send me their source. We're supposed to be connected to the same oracle, and my oracle has never said, oh, there's only one twin. In fact, my oracle has continued to say over the last 2 months, there is not only one person. And that is what is keeping the feminine from being able to come into alignment, is this idea that there is only one person. That's something the ego would love to be true, because that means the ego gets to have what they want, what the ego wants. But that's what the ego thinks you need, not what you actually need. So that was a big, long description for the Six of Cups card, but apparently somebody needed to hear that. And the Six of Cups is clarifying the Knight of Swords in reverse, because this is why the masculine is reluctant. There is something in his life that he's very attached to from the past. Something that maybe has been there since childhood. Good morning. Something that has been, and again, this could be even predating childhood, a feeling of this connection or something. And he's reluctant to end that or cut that out. Now, that can be with the divine feminine energy, or honestly, it could be with a past partner that he's having a hard time severing connections with. He's having a hard time ending this. So that, of course, is everything he's thinking about in his headspace. Now let's look at his heart space. Clarifying the 10 of Wands upright and the 8 of Swords upright is the, nope, that's not right. Sorry, clarifying the Ace of Swords, rather. We're at the top of the deck. What am I thinking? Is the Daughter of Wands. So this is the overall feeling of the heart space, the Page of Wands energy in reverse. Now, the reason that you would need new ideas is because you really wanted to get rid of your old ones, okay? The old ones about how there is no inspiration, there's no spark left, there's no chance to grow something. There has only been really immature expressions or small manifestations that haven't really panned out into anything. There's a feeling that masculine definitely has of being rather immature in regards to the eternal connection. Look, we're getting that lemniscate again with the snake energy here, which of course is about transformation. But this can also be this old flame that masculine has felt feelings for this old flame that we're seeing in the headspace is difficult for him to let go of. Even though he wants to reunite with feminine energy, it's like there's some old feeling or sensation that's still kind of holding on to him. And that's why we're getting this niggling feeling in the heart space of, I shit you not, the 2 of Pentacles upright. So the heart space is like, you have to make this decision to transform, to change the interactions that you have had. Rather than be in this immature communication, you need to be direct and truthful and honest. And rather than be communicating about your past unworthiness, you need to be communicating about the future. I can't believe the 2 of Pentacles there is in the head and the And the heart for the for the niggling feeling. That's so crazy. The heart's like, make a decision. The head's like, okay. So honestly, this is good because the head has decided, I will make this decision to unburden, to end the cycles, to communicate, to come out of isolation, to ground the union, and to reunite. But that's what he's been going back and forth about. Now, clarifying the 10 of Wands and the 8 of Swords is the Hierophant. With this shocking kind of energy here. The Hierophant is a card about tradition, higher level relationships, authority figures, vows, long-term commitments, marriage, that type of thing. Spiritual lessons, spiritual ascension. And if it's the thing that he was reflecting upon in the past, burdening the divine feminine, this is also that he could have been protecting himself from this long-term commitment, knowing that once he communicates to her, he's basically wanting to commit to her for the long haul. And that's been an overwhelming feeling for him. He's almost shocked that he wants that, shocked that he feels this way. And I think afraid of the words that he needs to use to communicate this to divine feminine. This World card that's in reverse is being clarified by this 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is the cycle that is not quite done, that he's really wanting to be over, which is this feeling of lack of affection and lack of love and prosperity and abundance. So lack mentality. This is what has made him feel very vulnerable and what has been difficult for him to do. He's felt it's been a challenge to bring the feminine out of the cold because he himself has felt in the cold in general in his life, not in regards to the divine feminine, but just in general. This Knight of Swords in reverse is being clarified by the Knight of Wands in reverse. So we see recklessness, inconsistency, love bombing, multiple parties, multiple sexual partners. Is not a great energy. To have both of these cards in reverse is really the divine masculine reflecting upon his problematic behaviors that have kept him from being able to have what he desires. And he's really wanting to release this. He doesn't want to hold on to these kind of childish things because they really do come from a childishness, like an underdeveloped communication, like underdeveloped emotional intelligence. Clarifying the King of Cups in reverse and the Hermit is the Mother of Wands, because this has really pissed off the divine feminine like a lot. We know that because we saw my ass being pissed off about the Hermit card the last couple of days. So he is really feeling the feminine he's really attracted to her, and he finds her to be so beautiful and spiritual and magnetic, etc. But he has like stayed alone and not communicated this to her, and this has really made her feel like keeping those boundaries up with him. Clarifying this 4 of Cups in reverse is it is time. This is the 3 of Wands in reverse, and it's an impatience. It's a feeling. It's like the heart being like, you have to stop. You absolutely have to stop refusing these offers. Like refusing this offer of love, of self-love from the divine, and then refusing the offer of love, the divine feminine is it's got to stop. It has to end. There's no end in sight if you don't come out of this fantasy of this waffling back and forth in your headspace and actually make some kind of an offer. Now, it's really interesting because rarely do I take an upright 6 of Cups and not be like, it's about the reunion. And I took this upright 6 of Cups and was like, it's about past karmic connections. And even while I was saying it, I was like, that's interesting, because usually it would be like this that would make me think of that. But no, I knew that. And this is clarifying that for me. The Three of Swords upright. And it is the one that I love so much that has no heart in it, where we usually see a heart. Instead, we see this red yarn that is entangled around these three swords. So the divine masculine feels like it is time to break free from the entanglements of his past. And in fact, it is past due time to do this. And it's painful. But the good thing about the Three of Swords is that there isn't a willingness, 8:22 on the clock, a willingness to be honest with yourself about how you have prevented yourself from making the decision that you truly wish to make because of your nostalgia for the past, because you fear hurting someone's feelings, while all the while really grievously wounding yourself and the divine feminine that you are keeping in this holding pattern. So the masculine is thinking and feeling this energy right now. He is thinking and feeling about what he has done, about the effects it has had. There is a heavy energy here for him. But it's like work that has to be done in order for him to be able to come forward. He's really not going to be able to make the decision until he faces those hard truths and feels it and heals it. All right, we will go back and heal the masculine with oracles, and we are going to now continue to the divine feminine and see where she is. And I am just flipping over her cards. And she did have overthinking, like I said. Actually, even more overthinking, I'm realizing now, than the masculine. Okay. So top of the deck, headspace for divine feminine is the Eight of Wands. This is from the Tarot of Mystical Moments. By the way, this last deck was the Wild Unknown Tarot. I think I forgot to say that. So divine feminine is going with the flow right now. She is really going with the flow in a way that I haven't really seen her so far. It's very graceful. It's lighthearted. It's actually not really heavy. The feminine side doesn't feel heavy to me. She feels light. Now the music. Oh, hey, I'm mentioning the actual music today on Tuned In Tarot. Finally talking about this, the whole reason I started the account. So the songs that shuffled today, we had exit music to a film for the divine masculine. And that was very, pack your bags and come with me. But it was also very like dark and intense. And the feminine song was Get Along Better, which was like a collab between like Drake and somebody, I think. Or maybe it was Drake. Maybe was it Drake? Maybe it was just Drake. Yeah, it was just Drake. Get Along Better from his new album. And it so tracked for the feminine because it was like, this might be too real. Hold me closer in these trying times. Supposed to be mine, baby. I need some help just like anyone else. You said you felt something for me. I don't know when, based on the signals you send, based on the way you apologized when you came to see me, and then you had the nerve to defend. Defend what? Mistakes that you made at the end. You said I was too invested, and that's what had forced you to go and pretend. I swear you crazy. Someone that's close to you reached out to me just to see if we had made amends. Trust me, this ain't about revenge. But now I get along better with your friend. And it's wrong, I know, but now I get along better with your friend. So it's the divine feminine being like, look, this isn't about revenge. Like, I'm not moving with the flow or going with the flow and moving on with someone else because of revenge. It's like, you've left me really no choice. So that was definitely the feeling of the feminine song. It's like no hard feelings here. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to live my life, like the life that I want to live. And either you live that with me or you don't. But like, I get along better with this other person now. What do you want me to do? Step up and get along better with me or what? So this also definitely is about communication. And this is the thing that's consuming Divine Feminine's mind. And I literally said at the beginning of the reading, when we checked for the theme of the reading, which was the Six of Pentacles and the Confidence card, knowing that I am all I need to get what I want. Divine Feminine is just really wanting communication. She wants to hear. Because the niggling thing in the back of her mind, the thing that's like kind of, just like won't go away, is this Hierophant energy. And feeling like she's really learned her lessons, especially in regards to sacred union, to being in a reciprocal, unconditionally loving, healthy, supportive relationship. I feel Divine Feminine really believes that she has learned, gained so much wisdom in this regard, and is really wanting to communicate with the masculine about the lessons she's learned and find out where the masculine is. And I also feel like this feminine thinks that she's going to get married soon. There's this feeling of like, it's inevitable now. Like, I've done all these things and that is what I want. So, it's coming. There's this feeling. I definitely get this feeling from these two cards, head in the bottom and top and bottom of the deck, which for me is overall and underlying, is it's coming. The communication about sacred union is on its way. And I am just going with the flow right now because I know it's coming, which I'm like, okay, feminine, that's good, because what you were told you needed is confidence. So that's confident. That's like, listen, somebody's going to fucking tell me they want to marry me before the year is over. That's going to happen. Absolutely. The first thing on her mind, can't really make it up, it is the Emperor, the female Emperor, and the Queen of Pentacles. So Divine Feminine is her own, she's her own, this is like, you are the one you've been waiting for kind of a feeling. She is the one she's been waiting for. Right now, Feminine is fully embodying this energy. I am all that I need to get what I want. That is what this is for me. This is creativity, fertility, abundance, the ability to command empires. It's drive, ambition. It is fiery, passionate, sexual energy from this Emperor, and the like grounded, nurturing energy of the Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. And it is the Divine Feminine being like, you know what? I don't need a man, in quotation marks. I don't need a masculine energy. I am my own masculine energy. I have been learning to balance inside of myself so that I can be independent and provide for myself and all that good stuff. And then the Page of Wands. And it's such an interesting Page of Wands. This was the masculine's version of it, because we see this feminine energy who is willing to look very closely at her new ideas. She's curious. She's got a lot of ambition. She's interested. Let me see. I really liked what it said in the book. I just read this the other day because it came up for my coven. Yes, creativity, a sense of adventure, confidence, passion, discovery, and exploration. An adventuresome explorer finds her way through the dense jungle. She holds a large magnifying glass to be able to discover the beauty surrounding her. Her magnified eye reveals how strong and focused she is. It shows that she is always open to inspiration and new ideas along the way. She is blazing her own trail. That is what she is currently doing. I'm obsessed with that. And then the next thing that is coming up for her is incredible. It's the Ace of Cups, clarifying the Five of Cups. Divine Feminine, when your overthinking looks like this, I don't mind. Overthink away. Because Divine Feminine is like, look, I could focus on the past, or I could fill my own cup. And she's really committed to being optimistic that her ability to love herself, care for herself, tend to her needs, turn to the divine for anything she could possibly desire, it's going to help her overcome any of these disappointments that she's experienced. And then we get this past energy, the reflecting upon the past of the standstill, the Two of Swords, which came up in the reading with Grace Strega yesterday that actually got deleted. And this is clarifying these two cards. So for this, it's very interesting. So it's like divine feminine, she had to make a decision to either wait for an external energy to come or embody the external energy herself. And it seems clear that she went within and actually figured out how to do that, because the next thing that's coming up for her is the Four of Swords, and she's resting now on her intuition. And she has faith. That's how she can be kind of courageous and adventurous right now. I also see her analyzing the silence, the period of no communication. So currently she's like curious about what that means. And it's interesting because in the past, I sense there would have been anxiety. There's no communication. And so she fears the content. And actually, because of the head and heart being Eight of Wands and the Hierophant, I really feel that she's confident about what the messages contain. So she's more curious and adventurous than she is like worried or afraid of the silence. Now the silence just sort of intrigues her because she's like, look, there's only one reason he's silent. You want to know why he's silent? This is the divine feminine. You want to know why he's not saying shit? Because the next time this bitch talks to me, he's going to fucking ask me to marry him. 100%. And I don't think she means like in the very next conversation, although for some that might be true. But it's like basically the next phase for her is the Hierophant. And if the masculine is going to come along, then that's the kind of conversations they're going to have. And so she has this confidence that because she's balanced her energy within self and learned her lessons, here is justice, she will receive communication from this passionate King of Wands. For those of you who know my story, I can't with this deck. Like, okay, why is he a drummer though? But anyway, so divine feminine is very confident in her headspace that she, because she understands karma, she knows how it works, she knows what she deserves, she knows what she's worth, she knows what her value is, she knows the worthiness of the divine masculine, she knows his fire, she knows that he's visionary and pioneering, and that he has this potential to be this really great monogamous, dedicated, devoted king, passionate king. She's not worried. The silence really doesn't affect her. In her mind, she's like, look, if this one doesn't talk to me, then he's a karmic and it doesn't matter. He was just teaching me a lesson. So what lesson he was teaching me is how to come into sacred union with somebody who is a reflection. And that's all I care about right now. That's all I care about in her headspace. Now, the heart space. Top of the deck, overall feeling of the heart space. The Hermit. Y'all know how I feel about this. I can't believe this card came up, but you want to know what? I had a talk with my friend Cheryl last night, who's also my astrologer or my astrologer. I don't know, astrologist. How do you say that? Anyway, so we're just friends and we were chatting, but she also like definitely teaches me everything I need to know about astrology. And we were just discussing the cards that keep stalking. And I talked about my resistance to the Hermit card. And then I was talking about something else and I had a revelation. I was saying that I have always enjoyed the idea of asceticism. Ever since I was little, I have been fascinated with the contemplatives, which in the Catholic faith are the monks and nuns who left society and went into the wilderness to go on a spiritual journey and basically see the truth, like see God. They would emulate Christ's 40 days in the desert in various ways. They wouldn't always go be in the desert, but they would take some kind of a pilgrimage. They would do these, they would remove themselves from the rest of the world. They were known as the contemplative monks, but they were like hermits living in caves. Saint Thomas Merton, who's a modern day saint that I really love, he was a contemplative. He was part of a monastery that practiced silence, and he, even within the monastery, would remove himself from the brothers, and he would go and live in a small cabin on the grounds of the seminary. I think it was in the south somewhere, and write and meditate and contemplate God. And I was always like, there was a part of me that like craved that. So I was talking to her about that. And as I was saying it, I was like, yeah, there's always been this part of myself that really just wants to, and I was like, be a hermit. I was like, fuck. There's literally, I actually did a release spell with one of my with my sister from my coven, and I took my vows, any vows of chastity or poverty that I have had in past lives, and I put those vows into this rosary, which was a rosary that I've had since my childhood. I think I bought it at like the school, like Christmas Santa's workshop or one of those, or the book fair or something. And I liked that it was actually like the chakras, like the different colors of the chakras, but I didn't know that at the time when I bought it. However, I took it and I took my vows and I placed them from the past, the ones I've taken in the past, and I placed them there in that rosary, so that if I pray that rosary, if I want to be in a time of, if I want to be in a hermit time or contemplative or have a vow of chastity or something, then I can honor it through prayer or, you know, connection, but I don't have to carry the vows with me. I can be released from those vows. So because I felt that part of my past life vows were actually affecting my current timeline. Like I wasn't able to achieve abundance and I wasn't able to achieve affection because I had made commitments, spiritual commitments in the past to be an ascetic. So the feminine in her heart space feels alone, and in her head space, she's desiring communication. So she is feeling like she has gone into the recesses and tried to figure out things about why she doesn't receive communication, or even maybe why this is attractive to her to sort of detach from the rest of the world. And the niggling feeling in the heart space is this Page of Swords in reverse. And for me, this is definitely about really trying to take the focus off of the masculine energy, to stop trying to see it or look at it or be consumed with it or try to figure out what's behind his mask, or, you know, it's like also about sort of not feeling so courageous, or like not necessarily like you can see the outcome or see the path or the way towards this Hierophant energy. And that is maybe this reason right now that the Hermit energy is feeling so strong for her, because she's maybe trying to take her focus off the masculine, and that makes her feel even more alone, because in the past she's having to admit to herself that focusing on what he was doing made her feel like they were together somehow, and it made her feel like she wasn't alone, which is why she imbued all of this meaning to all of the very little small pathetic gestures that this masculine would make. She would give them incredible amounts of meaning, because if there was no meaning in those gestures, if he wasn't really thinking about her all the time, then this is true. And there's a part of her that fears being alone so much that rather than just sit in that and feel it, she was always seeking it to fill those voids with thoughts about the masculine. My habit, I've been like the last few months, or probably been a full month, but I've been really trying not to just listen to readings out of habit, because I went for months on end, like listening to readings all day. Like I have to walk the dog, I'm listening to a reading. I have to clean and cook, I'm listening to a reading. I have to go to the bathroom, I'm putting a reading on. I have to like wait for somebody outside, I put a reading on. Like it's just like, and they're all the same, you know, like they're all the same. So it was just like listening to the same thing over and over again. It's like, oh, he's coming and he's waiting, he's coming, he's waiting, he's coming and he's waiting, and he's coming and he's waiting, and you're waiting and he's coming and he's waiting. And I was just like, what? Like, I'm only going to keep hearing this because all I'm doing is listening to this. So for the last few days, I've been so conscious of how many activities that I do, that I go to listen to a reading, and I'll be like, why do you need to listen to a reading? Why do I personally need to listen to a reading? I clearly know what's going on. I know what's going on. So I'm literally not even trusting my intuition. Mine. That's my job. So countering these proclivities to constantly go and check on what this person is doing. Clarifying the Emperor and the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Two of Cups in reverse. 8:44, I just turned 2 on the clock. The Two of Cups in reverse, which is a card about soulmates, and about coming together to break bread, dating, physically being together. So I feel like Divine Feminine is like the reason that she has embodied her own Divine Masculine is because she doesn't have a relationship. She doesn't have an actual relationship, so she's just embodied her own masculine energy inside of self, which is what you're supposed to do. This Page of Wands energy is being clarified by the Three of Cups. This is what Divine Feminine is being adventurous and curious about. This is having fun, having a good time with friends, dating, and it is a card about reuniting with energy, coming back together and celebrating, and reconnection. So I think also I'm just getting, for some of us that are very aware of astrological things that are happening right now, they are potentially thinking, they're being curious, they're analyzing sort of like the Venus in retrograde and the Mercury in retrograde, and thinking about how that affects relationships and communication and things coming together. That message is coming out for me. Something about like analyzing how to come into union is coming up as well. But Divine Feminine is feeling like, even though she doesn't have a relationship, she's having fun. She's having fun. She's being curious, adventurous. She's meeting new people. She could be having sexual escapades, because this is about burgeoning sexual energy. So she could be, starting to experience sexual fantasies about others, someone new, someone different, another person. And she feels good about it. It's a good feeling to let go of this old relationship and imagine something new and something fun and exciting. Clarifying the disappointment and the joy of the Ace of Cups, we have death, which couldn't be more apropos here. Something has died, which has caused disappointment, but what has grown from that death, from that disappointment and that loss, is the Divine Feminine's ability to have self-love at a level that is attractive, to the point where now she is going to be attracting in this energy, which is the Knight of Swords. And he is upright, not in reverse like he is over here in the masculine energy right now. So the masculine releasing the shadow will eventually be able to come into the light, right? And Divine Feminine is awaiting to see the truth. She feels that someone is ready to take their mask off and communicate. And it actually feels like it's going to happen pretty fast. That's why we had this Eight of Wands in her headspace. She's like, this isn't going to take long at all. All of this waiting and stuff like that's over for me. I know for sure it's over. Divine Feminine's like, there's not going to be waiting because I literally don't feel that I'm waiting for anyone specific. I released whatever specific thing, and I'm open to third parties. I'm open to meeting other energy, and I know that'll happen really fast because the only thing that was holding me back was myself not making a decision about just going forward. Like the second Divine Feminine is like, okay, well, this doesn't look like it's going to pan out. I think I'm going to turn my sights elsewhere. She's going to be able to attract an energy. Like that's the only thing that's held her back has been this holding on to this one relationship. This Four of Swords is being clarified by the Tower. So there's a lot of grief in releasing the past, but she's feeling the grief. She's not resisting it. And like I said, she's resting on her intuition. She's, I feel like there's definitely a feeling here of really big shifts for her. Like she feels like she's probably going to move. She definitely has this feeling that this no communication has caused this Tower. Like not talking to her at all has caused her to start to feel like it's time to release the person who's not communicating with her. And we're getting the Emperor in reverse, clarifying the Justice and the King of Wands. So the withholding energy that comes from this card, the stubborn, relentless, controlling rigidity, this is what is being released. This is what she is like moving away from painfully, because the Tower is usually uncomfortable, shifting away from this. Because in her head, she knows that she's attracting this passionate, monogamous, spiritual, divine masculine energy. She is letting go of an old paradigm that she had with another person who embodied the distorted characteristics of this Emperor. All right, let's do the oracles. Now we're going to head back over to Divine Masculine. The archetype that Divine Masculine is in right now is the Destroyer. There's that Tower energy, and it says releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for a new life. Now, we absolutely see the masculine doing that, releasing destructive behaviors and preparing for new life. So he's releasing destructive past behaviors that he has either engaged with the Divine Feminine with or in another relationship. Those things are being released and destroyed so that he can make room for new life and prepare for new life. And the card actually that came out with the Six of Pentacles on Saturday, if you didn't see it, the members only reading, it was actually preparation. It said prepare for Six of Pentacles, and today it says confidence. So you prepared for it on Saturday, and now you're confident that it's happening, which is fucking amazing energy. I'm like obsessed with that. So the masculine is absolutely preparing for this. So he's getting rid of everything that doesn't serve him. He's releasing past karmic partners. He's quitting jobs. He's moving away from locations. He's disconnecting from family members that don't have his best interests at heart. And he is actually moving towards an openness, an open-heartedness. Remember, we saw a crown chakra opening, that the heart chakra must be opened, right? So that is what he is doing, which is fucking great. His guardian angels are here to support him in faith and higher education. This is the Hierophant in 2 cards for me. They are basically helping him to believe that he has learned the lessons that he is needed to have the faith that he needs to be able to move into that long-term commitment with the Divine Feminine. So his guardian angels are supporting him in having learned those karmic lessons and now actually having faith that what he has learned has prepared him to make this long-term commitment. Dang. I noticed that my friend just said, good morning, I'm Taurus, Sun, and Moon, and Capricorn Rising. So I was trying to find out her rising sign, I knew it was going to be something like that. And I think it's so funny because I have so many Capricorn friends and Capricorn rising friends, like so many. Oh my God. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. So this is the divine masculine being told, like, look, you think like, oh, I released this. Release even more. Surrender even more control to me, divine masculine. Because you still have a tendency to be controlling. Your willpower card is in reverse. This is just a reminder to you that willpower is finite. You don't have to be ashamed of yourself when you get to the end of the day and you finally give in and watch a tarot reading, or you finally give in and have a drink, or you finally give in and have whatever food that you were trying to avoid. First of all, deprivation creates, it sets you up to crave things. So you're literally designed to crave the things you've deprived yourself from. So it's totally normal to feel the pressure of those cravings. And it is absolutely totally normal to run out of steam after you get to the end of the day, because this is a finite resource. It is not infinite. You have only a certain amount. Think of yourself as a Sims, like with a meter, like a meter, green meter. It's got to stay green for you to be able to go for a walk, prepare your food, not watch tarot readings, avoid a substance you're trying to avoid, not obsessively look at your masculine, not think negative thoughts all day. Every single thing that you have tended to do that you're trying to change requires willpower to change. And feeling like you don't have enough willpower doesn't really help you. What you should tell yourself is, I have as much willpower as I need. And that will provide you with less fear that you can't do what it is that you want, number one. And number two, it's going to take the shaming away. Because as I've discovered, as I've been reading the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which is just an incredible book, and I highly recommend it. Sin and I are reading it. Sin from Grace Strega are reading it. We're doing like a little private book club thing, her and I. And one of the really strong messages from the Gospel of Mary Magdalene is the statement about sin, where Christ actually says there is no sin. There is only the corrupted imagination, basically. So it's like there is only the blamer. It's like the blamer or the shamer is the thing that is actually, let me see how they phrased it. One of the most painful consequences of this short-sightedness, this disorientation of desire, is taking yourself for what you are not, identifying yourself with an image. Dang it. I have to find the quote. Sin as a sickness of imagination. Our sickness is that we continually take our relative perceptions as absolutely real. We mistake our interpretations and readings of reality for reality itself. This is where illusion or sins or lies exist. Dang it. I'll have to find it later. But there's this one quote that's really good about blaming, about how blaming is truly the source. The person who's blaming or blaming yourself, that's actually the sin. You are supposed to become both more human and divine. Divine masculine, a personal issue reaches resolution. So, and this is full moon in Cancer energy. So this is usually having to do with the home, with family, with relations. So there is something that's been going on that is reaching a full resolution. And we actually just had the full moon in Cancer. So I'm really tempted to use the timing on the card as whatever happened during this full moon for the masculine, which was a week ago, has really helped him to release whatever situation at home that was blocking him. It's that full moon energy has like released fully whatever this is. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing and rewriting the future. So I feel like masculine broke a karmic connection. And you know, that's probably why we're seeing this here, because he's reflecting upon the pain that he caused by these entanglements. Wow, you just got, when I've surrendered, surrender more. This moth spirit message, number 39. Moth spirit asks, what is guiding you right now? Are you in alignment with spirit or pursuing something or someone with so much tenacity that has become a compulsion or addiction? Are you so intoxicated by a potential relationship or opportunity that you can't think straight? Hard work and dedication are virtues, and love, of course, is a beautiful thing. However, when moth spirit appears, it is time to consider if you have gone over the edge in a relentless pursuit. Workaholism, overeating, perfectionism, or addiction to certainty, or even to a person may be your current vice. The form of your addiction does not matter so much as awareness of the consequences of remaining persistent when moderation is needed. Let go of your excessive energy by channeling it in more than one direction. The fire burns hot, and you do not want to be engulfed by your passion to the exclusion of all the other pursuits that matter to you. Now is a time for surrender and radical acceptance, so that your drive does not cause you to flee or to fight. Spirit wants you to release your need for certainty and control, so that you can relax into a more balanced way of using your moth spirit energy. Banish the shoulds and musts, so that you can enjoy what is as you allow for what might be. It's a beautiful energy. And then Divine Masculine got two themes for some reason, and so I let Divine Feminine have it as well. But these two themes are coming out with the adjustment or justice card in the Thoth Tarot. So this is masculine's theme. We're getting resistance and precision. Understanding why you resist what you have to do is a crucial part of the process, and the desire to do things precisely is useful as long as it does not devolve into rigidity. So literally the universe, they're not even making you go try to find out what you do. That they're saying the resistance you're experiencing is because you are trying to be too precise. You are rigid. You're being your desire to do things precisely has devolved into rigidity. And this is what's causing resistance and balancing the scales between you and the feminine energy, or in fully releasing the karmic attachment, something like that. But let me read the actual creativity oracle to you for resistance. It is 65. Oh, I got precision right there too. Okay. The resistance card is an indication that problems related to the matter in question are the result of either you or another person involved resisting doing what you know you have to do. Selecting the resistance card is a reminder that what you resist persists until you understand why it makes you feel the way you do. It is easy to reject something, but resisting it means that it stirs us emotionally. It pushes our buttons. It gets us off on a tangent where what we are resisting becomes the focus of our thoughts more than what we are trying to create. Pulling the resistance card often means that you need to understand and overcome your resistance to an approach, to a technique, or to producing a particular result, because your resistance is preventing other aspects of your creative process from making magic on your behalf. And that is also coming out with persistence. And that says the precision card, or I'm sorry, precision. The precision card is an indication that problems related to the matter in question are the result of either too much or too little focus on precision. Our desire for precision can help us identify and clarify our intentions, thereby making them simpler to comprehend and easier for us to attain. You cannot make things the way you want them to be without knowing precisely how you want them to be. In the creative process, having that kind of precise vision is a perfect starting point. Care must be taken, however, that the desire for precision does not devolve into a rigid, picky attitude that stifles creativity. Precision can be invaluable in predicting and dealing with course corrections when the inevitable unforeseen circumstances arise in response to your actualizing of your original plan. Precision is the clearest indication of mastery. Okay, so the thing that I'm feeling from this masculine is that he's resisting this adjustment because because he actually needs a lot of clarity now about what he wants to do, because he is released these entanglements, or he's dealing with these entanglements, and he doesn't want to recreate the past, but he doesn't quite know exactly what he wants to envision for the future. So he needs a more precise, clear vision, and he's resisting getting it because he wants things to be perfect. So it's like, I'm resonating with this so much. This is how, for me, in my masculine energy, I had a person that I released an attachment to. Bye. And I really did. Like, I'm really like, peace be with you. Truly, peace be with you. But I'm going to go my own way. And it was a very difficult process that took almost a year to complete. And now I'm like, what do I want? What do I actually want now? And it's like, pick anything. Because if you desire it and it comes towards you and it's not for you, it'll go away. So you can't get it wrong. There's a fear now that the masculine energy has, that they will make the wrong decision about how they do want to transform the energy, that they will choose something that's not going to actually be good, or that the path is actually going to be very difficult. And so it's like, it's like, well, just imagine anything. And I'm like, but I want to imagine the perfect thing. Like, I don't want to get it wrong. And it's like, what do you mean? You want to imagine the perfect thing? What is that? Are you playing a game right now or not? Are we going with the thing that there's no meaning and there's no purpose and there's nothing and there's not anything after you die and you just become a blank and like whatever, and then nothing matters? In that case, do everything like YOLO, bitch, because nothing matters. Okay. Or are we doing the thing where we're like, I came here to play with the clay. Play with it then. Did you buy like a package of new Play-Doh and just you leave it there because you don't want to take it out and ruin the perfect like cylinder shape that it comes in? You just open it up and sniff it and you're like, I really want to play with this. I want to play with it so much, but I'll ruin it. It's already this perfect shape while it's inside of the container. Take the Play-Doh out and fucking play with it. And you know what? Mix it up. Mix it up. Get it all mixed up. Make the one color that was one color now never able to be that color again, and have something completely new. Maybe it turned into mud and you don't like it. Maybe you got some really crazy fuchsia color that's super great. Who the fuck knows? It doesn't matter, because you can buy more Play-Doh. You can make Play-Doh yourself. You don't even have to fucking pay for it. So play with it. Play with the Play-Doh. Divine Feminine, it's your turn. So stop being all arrogant about the Divine Masculine needs to change its shit. Because you're in the shadow attributes of the Fool energy, girl. Using humor to wound rather than liberate. And a denial of your emotional truth. You need to fearlessly reveal emotion and help people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. So you're holding back some emotion here. You're holding a mask. I think you're also fearing the mask of the masculine not coming off. The masculine's mask not coming off. Can't even get it out of his name. So how the hell is he going to get it off his face? But you need to step into the light of this energy. You need to fearlessly reveal your emotions. And stop using humor to wound your former partners. But I'm so funny. I don't care if it hurts their feelings. At least I wasn't just mean. At least I made people laugh when I totally gutted them. All right, I'll be nicer. Maybe if you stop being an asshole, I wouldn't have to be so salty and hilarious. Okay. Be brave, divine feminine. Your guardian angel is here to support you in that. And because you are feeling like you are not that brave right now, I do think you do need that energy. This is another affirmation too of that strength card coming out. And it's actually coming out with Padre Pio. And I was just talking last night to one of my friends. Her mother is a devout Catholic and she has resisted Catholicism. And I was telling her, you know, it doesn't matter that you don't believe in Catholicism, your mother does. And when your mother prays, she prays to the angels and the saints. And that works. Like, it doesn't matter if there are elements of Catholicism that are fucked up. It's a religion that's 2,000 years old and has ritual magic practices in it and a priestly class. So when your grandmother, your aunt, or your mom or whatever prays the rosary for you and prays that her guardian angels help you and support you, they do. It doesn't matter. You don't believe it. They do. And I was talking about that. And I was saying there are certain saints that each family usually honors that are very common for certain families. And Italian families, we usually have Padre Pio. We have Saint Teresa. We have Saint Anthony. Like there's a few saints that are really common culturally. Padre Pio is one of them. So that was what made me think of that. And Padre Pio is a saint that has to do with healing. He's also a modern day saint as well. You can see videos of his stigmata coming out of his hands. He used to also have a lot of really terrifying paranormal activity around him all the time. Demonic activity, because they would try to, you know, like, it's the squeaky wheel that needs oil, right? So if you're devoted to God and you're like a saint, then there is the potential there for you to be spiritually attacked. And Padre Pio had those experiences, and people would experience that around him. He's an incredible saint, and he's helping you right now with healing the parts of yourself that have made you feel like you have to be so courageous and so brave, even to just go on a date. Right? You like have to analyze every single aspect of this person because you're fucking terrified of what's going to happen because of what has happened, because of getting hurt, you know? Makes perfect sense. Excuse me, that you would be scared, but you're being supported in this energy. Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. So, you know, when you're experiencing this energy from the masculine, you just have to keep this in mind. Like I was like after 7 and I was like in with the puppy, and I definitely could have put her in the crate. She goes to bed at that time. She's crate trained and she can go to bed at 7. Like, and I could have just gone out and had a drink. And I mean, financially, I didn't want to spend money on that, but also like, I'm the one bitching about hermit energy, and it was like pulling teeth to get me out. In fact, when I did go out, I finally went out on a Saturday. We went to the dog park. My friend drove us there. We picked up my other friend. We had a great time. We went to eat food. And then I was like, oh, do you guys want to come back to my house? And my friend was like, let's go to mine. And I was like, okay. Like, had to like be like, okay, I'll put, yep, it's okay for me to put the puppy in the crate. And then I can go to your house and not be in my house. Go have fun. Go have a good time. Go make friends. Go meet people. Because the person that you're fixated on, focused on, whatever person, even if it's more than one person, even if there's this person that you thought was this person and maybe it's this person, and those people are not talking to you. They're not having fun with you. They're not doing anything with you at the moment. And you're waiting for them to do it if you're not going out and doing it on your own. It is time to take action. This is the new moon in Aries. It's reverse. That for me is 2 messages. There are some in this collective that keep bugging the masculine energy. They keep communicating to this energy. Don't. It's not helping. You know who you are. There are others who are not communicating, which is fantastic, because I do not think the feminine is supposed to be communicating with the masculine. I don't mean if they communicate to you, you just ghost them. If they communicate to you, even if it's just like a, oh, hey, how are you? It's fine to like respond. But I'm saying if you're in a state where they're not saying anything, no one's saying anything, and you're the one who breaks the ice, stop doing that. Stop breaking the ice. Let the masculine break the ice. The reason why he's not breaking the ice is because you keep breaking the ice. So stop doing that. The other thing that I'm feeling is that it is time to take bold action in terms of what is meaningful to you, because this is this new moon energy. And for me, that is intentions, the things we intend to have happen. And I feel like there is a tendency for the feminine to set an intention and then wait. And that's not how it works. You set the intention and then you respond to stimuli that leads you to the end result of your intention. So if your intention is that you come into a romantic partnership with somebody and you don't go out, how are you going to do that? And if you're like, well, because I'm waiting for the person I'm thinking of to come back and I don't want anyone else, there's your problem. It's very likely, I'm going to put a percentage, 93, that just dawned on me, 93%. There's a 7% chance that that person is actually who you're going to end up with. There's a 93% chance that that person is showing you how the fuck to get out of the house and go meet somebody who's actually worth your time. Are you gonna play those odds and stay at home on the 7% chance that that person is yours? And even if that person is yours, even if there's that 7% chance you're holding on to it, you're like, I'm one of the 7%. Even if you are one of the 7%, whose person that is not communicating to you right now, not coming in, not taking you out, not doing anything with you, even if that person is your person that you're going to end up with somehow, you should still go out on a date, because there is absolutely nothing more stimulating to a masculine energy than rivalry and competition. So you are only hurting yourself by acting like you don't have any other options. Because the masculine is like, she's fine. She doesn't have any other options. That's actually not how he feels. He actually is crazed thinking about all of the like dicks you're going to suck. So he's the opposite. He thinks you have all the options in the world and he doesn't think he's going to get done in time to come in. You do have all the options in the world. So go take action. Go out with your friends and meet people. How do you know? What if your person, the 7% of you that are going to end up with your twin, what if that person, okay, what if you can't be with them until you have a karmic relationship? What if there is a karmic relationship that you are supposed to have before you can be with that person, and you never get to be with that person, not because that person never came, but because you never did what you were supposed to do, which was learn a karmic lesson, because the universe is protecting your person from you hurting them, right? Or from them hurting you again. So while you're waiting, there's another individual that you're supposed to learn a lesson with. Either you're supposed to learn about things that you never received from this. If you've never received communication, support, love, reciprocity from somebody, then that means you have no way to imagine it. If you can't imagine this person doing that, you're stuck. So many times the comments in TikTok will be like, oh, he's not coming back. He's never going to do this. He's never going to be like that. And I'm like, why are you watching this then? If you really think that your person isn't like the energy that you are like, then why are you holding on to them? If you're like, this person will never do that, I can never imagine that happening, then you need a new person to show you something that can happen. Because all that's going to happen is you're going to keep believing that that's never going to happen, because the person you're focused on is useless in this way. And they'll continue to be that way because you can't imagine anything different. Remember, in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, Christ says that the sin is in the corrupted imagination. It is in the ability to imagine sin and not to imagine the opposite of it. Okay, so let's go or continue. You are getting Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations and divine plans. So this is that reminder to the feminine that there has to be a lot of things that happen divinely in order for something miraculous to take place. And there's like a trajectory, there's a plan. And it's just this peaceful reminder, like just have that faith that everything is happening according to plan. Spider spirit, of course, having to be patient. Make your dreams real. Now, this is the message that if you have dreams, that's fantastic. But the spider actually has to build the web. This is going along with that Aries card. It's like, I have a dream. I want to be with my person or a person. And the universe is like, great, build a web. And you're like, but I want my person to come so I can build my web with the person. And the universe is like, no. And you're like, but I can't do it by myself. And the universe is like, not true. And you're like, but, and the universe is like, build the web, build it. There's flies everywhere. They're everywhere. And you can only get them if you build a web. And a spider is divinely inspired to create a masterpiece. And then it is impermanent and they take it down. So they're not attached to it at all. Literally. They're like, all right, this is done. I'm going to move on now. And they take it down. They don't take a picture of it. They don't keep it in their archives. They just let it go. So the web that you built before, the web that you built to attract this juicy divine masculine energy that you're fucking stuck on so hardcore, it's time to take that web down and build a new web. New web, new flies. And to emphasize that, I got a reversal on a deck I don't have reversals on. I'm getting let go from Creativity Oracle. What, if anything, can be done to let go of what is standing in your way? And Insight, which was in reverse. And it says, see beyond appearances, masks, cliches, and cultural stereotypes to gain insight. So interesting that it's saying see beyond appearances and then let go. So I feel like there's something here that your ego has desired, and it's like the appearance of how you look or that you're holding on to, kind of. You might be holding on to a specific person because you have always thought that that is what your life would appear like on the outside, and maybe you prepared people around you for that to happen. I mean, the person that I released, I pretty much, one of my favorite things to think about when I was imagining being with that man is I was like, oh my God, everybody who like heard me talk obsessively about him for so many years, they're going to be like, oh my God, you're finally with him. That's like, of course. I would love to think about that. Like going to the different places in my life where the people there knew that I had this connection to this person or this interest or obsession with this person, and then be like, see, it was real. My ego wanted that so fucking bad. So bad that I would, every single sign, every single insight I would get from the universe that was like, baby, he's wearing a mask and you like the mask, but underneath the mask, that's not what you're asking me for. You're asking me for someone totally different than this person. So let this go. I've given you the insight and still you're resisting your intuition. And I would be like, no, he's great. And then I would like go meet people who knew him personally. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm here to like audition for this person or work for this person. And the people would be like, oh, cool. Have fun with that. And I was like, oh my God, he's so misunderstood. But it's good because it's true, actually. He was really misunderstood. And I actually do know a great deal about him. And I even lied to him when I sent him my breakup message. I realized the other day, I was like, oh, that's a lie. Because I said at the end, I don't know you really. And I'm like, no, that's actually not true. You know him better than anyone in his life. And that's why you're letting him go. Because you know all the damage and all the sadness and all the disappointment and all the traumas. And you feel it. You feel compassion for it. You feel pity for what he's gone through. You can even forgive the way he's treated you because of all of those things. But because you know exactly what he's like, you have to let him go. So I really should have ended that email instead of saying like, I don't know you really. And what I meant was I only know like what his ego's projection was of himself. But what I really meant by that statement was I don't know the crazy shit that you've actually done. But I actually know who you are. I do. And I think that you're great. And I think it's sad that you don't feel you are and are willing to treat other people the way you treat them because of that. So I resisted my insight. I refused to let go of this feeling that no, this, and it was just my ego that just wanted to appear a certain way. I wanted people to think that I was cool and I was going to be this power couple, was cool recording artists. We were just going to just be so cool. And this person had narcissistic personality disorder probably, or just was or had been abused by someone that way. And that is his MO now, is just to behave that way. The let go card is an indication that we should no longer concern ourselves with the matter in question, because holding on to it or fighting to keep it from happening will not be as productive as letting it go. Selecting this card can also be an invitation to look at your creative process to see if you are holding on to friends, ideas, beliefs, techniques, or equipment that have ceased to be useful at this point in time. Letting others become responsible for themselves or saying goodbye is never easy, but it is sometimes necessary and inevitable. It is understandable but unrealistic to want things to continue in a certain way without end. We use so much energy trying to hold on, but at a certain point, letting go of the past allows us to get a grip on the future. And I can even read that to the masculine about that. He's having that hard time. So much energy trying to hold on, but at a certain point, he's got to let go. It's understandable but unrealistic to want things to continue. That's how I feel for this masculine right now. It's understandable that he doesn't want he doesn't want things to continue in a certain way without end, but it's unrealistic that he could keep the feminine in this holding pattern and that she would not go. And then the other card that came up is Insight, which says the Insight card is an indication that you should take a time to sit quietly and comfortably in a place where you will not be disturbed. Ideally, a place where you have had revelations before, because reality wants to reveal to you one of its secrets. We have to ask the right questions in the right way. We must approach things as a child, as a beginner, as someone who has never seen or even dreamed of what we wish to know about. Awareness, perceptions, and insights arise in us when we drop the rigid mask of the way things have been done, the most recent version of what is considered to be expertise, and the attachment to a particular point of view. Insight is not often insight, but when it finally comes to us, it can be the equivalent of years of study and experience. Let go, divine feminine. Let go of that need to appease your ego's need to look or be a certain way. Your theme for this week is the Three of Cups. So letting go of someone and allowing yourself to have fun, enjoy other energy, date. And this can be about union. It can be a card about reuniting with somebody from the past. We are in Venus and Mercury retrograde. Those experiences do happen. Although I think we romanticize for Mercury retrograde, we like demonize it. And then for Venus in retrograde, we romanticize it. So we're like, oh, it's Venus in retrograde, our loving person is going to come back. But no, it's really about healing your relationship to the values that you have, because Venus represents values. So it's like the things that you value. And I value having a good time, laughing, communicating, like talking, conversing, expressing. So this is your theme this week, Divine Feminine. You need to be in union in yourself and have fun and take things kind of lightly. The masculine's got some heavy energy. He's got this intense justice energy. And you are lighthearted. And you know what's interesting? Justice, masculine bringing about justice would bring about a reunion. So if you truly embody the energy you're called to embody, you can come into union. All right, we're at the last part of the reading. We're going to do the final cards for the two of you, the two parts of self. And this is the point where I say, please go to pearlsprayers.com and click on support. Send a gratuity for this reading if you felt it helped you. I do completely free 2-hour readings 3 days a week. I do very affordable on my website, members only readings Thursdays and Saturdays. The Tell Me Everything spreads that are really popular. It only costs $3.33 to become a member, and it really will help. I was thinking the other day, if I get 1,000 people to sign up, I'll be good. I won't have to ask for money anymore. I'll be like, perfect. I have everything I need. So be one of those people and help contribute to that. And I really appreciate that so much. And you can also listen to my music there. I released a song in July called It's Me, Babe. I do write about the twin flame journey, so you could hear that reflected in the song. And my voice is pretty unique, so check me out. I'm quite a formidable musician, I will say, if I do say so myself, and I do, because I'm a Leo sun and a Leo moon, so I'm owning it. My Pisces rising is like, be more humble, and my Leo is like, bitch, ain't nobody humble got people to go listen to them on Spotify. So no, I do have some humility, but you can't when you're asking people to support you. So please go support me. And also there is a course running right now. There's 10 participants. It is not a course that is time-based. You can join at any time. And it is called Spiritual Nourishment 1, Becoming the Empress. And it's helping you to start to pay attention to your intuition, to the language of your body, and start to separate yourself from external influences. And we start using food, because food is the foundation of the throne for the Empress. It gives you the energy and the nourishment you need to be able to be spiritually nourished and physically nourished and able to do your badass shit that you're going to do as an Empress. So that's going on. It's only $55 for that course. And it is 4 weeks long, although most people do extend it because it's not like a time-based course. It's it has like sections to go through, but you don't have to do like day 1, day 2, day 3 if you want. You can take as long as you want to do it. And it automatically gives you membership to the website. So you can see the Tell Me Everything spreads every week for a year. Okay, that is all the things I want to say about that. Please go and support me. I do appreciate it so much, and I definitely need it. This is the archetype that is problematic for the both of you right now. You are in the archetype of the miser. So you are hoarding money and emotions, and you have an obsessive fear of losing wealth. So both of you are holding on to your emotions right now because you're afraid that if you express your emotions and the other person isn't there for it, isn't down for it, isn't ready for it, you're going to just be hurt. And they're going to take your birthday away. And nobody can take your birthday away. So you really have to come into the light, which is just to believe that you can turn anything into gold and delight in sharing your riches. So the 9 of Cups, like actually sharing what you have. Your guardian angel is here with this nurturing energy to just reassure you that heaven is watching over you. You are as safe and secure as this baby is in his mother's care. So this is the most caring universe, and you're absolutely safe and protected right now. You are getting this card. There is a stream of love supporting my dreams, and the reversal on it for me suggests that you really need to believe in this. And this is also coming out with protection in reverse, and the fact that you got heaven is watching over you. There is a stream of love supporting my dreams and protection. You're divinely protected. You're afraid though that you're not. You're afraid that you're not. That's why you won't, feminine, that's why you won't go try other options, because you're afraid that this person that you're fixated on, that's not protected if you do. Masculine, you're afraid to go to release people and go towards the feminine because you're afraid of abandonment or rejection, and you're not feeling that you're supported or loved in that. You also might be needing to protect yourself from others in your life right now and put up strong boundaries. And I see Empress energy here and waiting. And this idea that like you need to stop waiting. You're protecting your emotions too much, right? That coming out with the Midas card, like you're overprotective of your emotions and your feelings. And communication is key. And this is that twin energy coming out, the Gemini energy. It is new moon again. So that's the intention. Like set this intention to communicate right now. And that nothing is going to change 9:33 on the clock without communication. That's why I have felt so frustrated, because I know that unless we talk, there's really no change. And now that I am the badass divine feminine energy that I am, now that I am 100% embodying this bitch right here, Queen of Pentacles, her own emperor, honey, if you don't talk, I walk, period. And it's frustrating to me because I see the potential, and all that it would need is communication about it. But I am actually at a point now where I will not walk before the communication. So I'm not going to like deny myself the opportunity to communicate. So I will, when I'm ready and I'm close, I'm going to be like, hey, we could have a good thing. And I think you know that too, but you are avoiding it, and that's cool. But I'm going to keep on keeping on if you're going to avoid it. Okay. If I get nothing from that, I will peace out. I won't know that I can peace out, though, until I communicate about it. I happen to be waiting because I have, there's two reasons. One reason is very unlike me. Astrology. I rarely allow dates, astrological dates, to influence me because I believe in time shifting. So I believe that I can wake up and the astrological dates can shift. However, in my current timeline, which I love, I know, energetically speaking, that there are like a few weeks for all these kinks to work out from the way that communication energy works during Mercury in retrograde. So I'm patient because I'm like, I know that it could be kind of complicated to start these conversations right now. So I'm not overly anxious to do it. Like I feel like there's an energetic reason why I'm not hearing from this person. So there's that one thing. The other thing is my person is traveling and I know they're coming home. So my feeling is like, okay, well, I have enough room, enough space right now to hold the space for this potential. However, when people ask me to go out for drinks this week, I'm going to say yes, because I don't want to be waiting. Like I don't want to be waiting for a specific person. I want to wait for the person that really, really resonates with me, but I don't want to wait for a specific person. So I'm going to force myself to not even wait because of astrology or because of like the timing of this person's arrival. But when that person does come home, 100% I'm not waiting to communicate that. I'll be like, hey, we need to have a talk. Are you ready? And then I'm going to, and unless they initiate, maybe they'll initiate it. But if they don't, we're having the talk. And the talk is going to be like, are you going to talk to me? Okay. You're not going to talk to me? That's good. I'm going to keep pushing though. Okay. No hard feelings. Leap, divine feminine. You got the Fool in reverse, and then you're getting the Leap card in reverse. This says you go first, the universe will catch you, and you got the do not take action card in like. So I'm not going to initiate this conversation I just told you about. The only way that I would initiate that conversation is after that person comes back. If I don't have anybody that I'm already seeing in the next month and a half, and we get together again and start to talk, I'm absolutely not going to leave it hanging. Like, If they don't initiate, then I will initiate. But right now we're being told, don't initiate. Don't go first. The universe is supporting you, but it's not for the feminine to go first right now. The feminine is doing the right thing right now, by allowing the masculine energy to take action. Freedom is yours, horse spirit. It is number 33. We got 233 spin. When horse spirit appears, you are gifted with the spirit of movement and freedom. It is a time for travel and adventure, whether that means a trip somewhere or taking a different type of journey, one of freedom of choice. Horse spirit reminds you that no matter the circumstances, you have free will and choices that can take you far away to a better place, a better situation, a better state of being. For there is no one but you to reign in your will or to make a different decision. You are capable of making powerful choices that will affect you for a long time to come. Horses are social animals and known to be a friend to mankind, willing to carry us forward when we need it. Horse spirit reminds you that help will be available to you whenever you need it, and companions will be by your side wherever you choose to go, whatever direction you choose to travel. Life is an adventure, and horse spirit wants you to know that whatever choices you make, you have great spirit within, invisible yet holding you up and always walking by your side. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you can set your heart free to experience love in all forms. Spirit whispers to you that the gift of freedom is yours if you allow yourself to break out of your perfectionism and stubbornness. Make a move and enjoy the freedom of letting go of the need to control. Can you see how both sides of self would benefit from this? My side of self that needs to go out and see people so that I can meet somebody that is a match to me. If the person that I feel is a match to me isn't communicating or actually a match, because if they were a match, we would probably be talking, because I fucking talk all the time. So the odds are this person would talk back to me, right? And the masculine must make the same choices to be free of the past energy that he is holding on to. Do you see how this is just you? You are holding on to a person, and you are being told to stop doing that and to see other people. And the person you're focused on is the same, right? Because they're in a relationship of some kind, or they have let a relationship go and they're still attached to it. There's still entanglements. There's still wounds in the heart space. And so they're still holding the space for this person potentially, or whatever, however that is. Even if that person is you, it doesn't matter. It's exactly the same though. They have to let go in order to be free to experience what they've asked for. Theme. We are getting again the Cycles card and the Eight of Swords again, which is a card that says interference. This is about boundaries. It is about the Six of Swords, learning how to make informed decisions rather than decisions where you are just aggressively protecting yourself from past fears that you've had. There's healthy boundaries and unhealthy boundaries, okay? But there's also periods of time where you're being protected. We got a lot of protection coming up. Overprotection to a certain extent. The wind blows, the wheel turns. We go through cycles just like nature because we are a part of nature. And this card reminds us to consider the nature of someone else. Consider their nature, which is important, because if you are in love with somebody whose nature is to be withholding, then you have to take that into account for the odds of you being able to have a healthy relationship. The nature card is an invitation to do as much of your creative process outdoors as is practically possible. If working outside is not feasible, then simply go for a walk. There is a lesson to be learned in everything you can observe in nature. if you are peaceful and attentive inside yourself. Taking yourself to the outside world by leaving the studio, classroom, office, or any other place of work is as important as any work done indoors. Immersing yourself in nature and its signs and symbols clears your head and cleans your spirit, allowing you to return to your work with a renewed energy and sense of purpose. This card can also be a reminder that you need to take human nature into account when trying to solve any problems associated with the matter in question. That, to me, is human nature is interfering with the outcome that you desire. And your choice is to sit and wait for human nature to change or to find a different human. One of the things in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene that is talked about is that one of the problems that causes imbalance is attachment to things that are impermanent, to identify with the material or the flesh. If you identify with your body, with your ego, with things that are impermanent, you will be condemned, not to hell in an afterlife, but to the one that you're experiencing now. Because to be attached to impermanent things is to inherently experience the loss of those things. So you set yourself up for your own hell. Whereas if you're not overly attached to the source of your experiences, you can experience joy and heaven in each moment. Not later when you die, not later when your future is perfect, but right now. All right, let me help you. Let me help you. This is the final part of the reading and maybe one of the most powerful parts. Thank you for staying here for the whole reading and for receiving all of your oracles and healing and for supporting me. Please like, subscribe, and share. Those are the biggest ways to help me if you don't have the financial means to help me. Excuse me. All right, so we're asking right now, what is something that's been on Divine Masculine's mind and is bothering him and he can't stop thinking about it? And what is something that will help him? And for the feminine. And then how can they go general about these things? All right, let's take a look. Divine Masculine. What has been bothering you? You can't stop thinking about it over and over and over again. It's bothering you the shit out of you. We're getting the mice card. And I just got the song from My Brightest Diamond. It's like, there's a mouse in this kitchen and he's eating my cheese, eating my cheese. And it's this feeling masculine has that there are all of these like people who like want a piece of him. There's like people that are kind of grasping at like anything he has or something, or maybe he's felt like he's always been grasping for things, but he's thinking a lot about having enough people trying to like get things from him. There's like, it's like also being obsessed with the details, being obsessed with all these little details and focusing and thinking about them and thinking about getting everything right and like financial stuff. It's all that kind of stuff. What would help him is this coffin energy, which is the accepting the end of something, allowing something new and fresh to begin. Like accepting that this experience he's had is a thing of the past. This is a 7 of Wands energy too, where you're like fighting off other energy. You're having to fight for your cheese. And the universe is like, this isn't something that is going to plague you anymore. You virtually released that with that 5 of Pentacles in reverse energy. So you have to just face your fears that this kind of energy, these kind of people that are in your life, that's over. They are not going to be able to bother you anymore. But rather than think about how that's going to happen or whatever, you just need to go general about this energy. This is the stork. This is fresh energy. So all you have to do is think about a time in your life when you had a fresh outlook, fresh take, fresh start, fresh perspective. The thing that always comes up for me is when I was in a terrible situation living with my ex and his parents after we had already divorced we were separated. And I had driven all the way to Los Angeles to come out here to work. I auditioned for one of my favorite artists, and I was basically waitlisted. And it's interesting. I was left in a holding pattern. I was given a kiss off email, and I'm realizing that this kiss off email is just so in alignment with how he functions. It was like, we would love to work with you, but not yet. That was our whole relationship. I'd love to work with you, but not yet. Anyway, so I was in that place where I had to just take another job at the time, and like wait for the potential to maybe work at this job that I really wanted. And then my ex called me and was like, oh, by the way, even though I plan to move out to Los Angeles with you, I'm not doing that because I met somebody and I'm not coming back. And you can't have your kid. And I was like, I've been my son's primary caregiver for 7 years, and you haven't even taken him to a doctor appointment or gone to his shit at school. So what the fuck? You're absolutely not getting full custody of my child. And I have to go all the way back. So I went all the way back, and then I had to live with his parents who already, they were my in-laws. And they weren't the fun in-laws. I had to live with him and them in their house with my son after he had crushed my dreams basically in my mind by saying that I could have stayed in Los Angeles and continued to work out here. I just would have had to give up my son, which I was not mentally, emotionally prepared to do. Also, that would have been a shitty thing to do to my son. Like, for my ex to even expect that his mother not coming back wouldn't be completely stressful to his kid is just beyond me. But regardless, in that terrible situation, they had a basement that was unfinished. And rather than live upstairs with the rest of the family, I took my air mattress and slept in the basement. My piano was down there, and it was so cold that I got chilblains on my hands while I was knitting. Chilblains is what you fucking get when you live in England in the goddamn 19th century. Like, what the fuck? It was a really awful experience. But I was writing really powerful music while I was there, and I was just figuring out how to survive in this new place where I was not going to have any support of any kind. And I felt like it was just so awful. And they said I had to leave the house on Easter Sunday. Right. They let me stay for Easter dinner, and then I had to leave. I had no family that lived in Massachusetts. My ex-husband, who was a financial abuser when we were married, actually cut off my access to all of our finances, all of the credit cards and our bank account, which is actually illegal. You can't even do that to your partner. But I didn't know that at the time. He was finally forced to give me money to be able to get a retainer for my attorney, because that is the law in Massachusetts, that you have to have an attorney. Like, you have to pay for your spouse's attorney if they can't pay for it. I was a domestic housewife who had taken care of his child in his house for 7 fucking years. And so I had no access to finances. So I had no money, nowhere to go. I did have a car, but obviously I had to make car payments on it. And they were like, you can't stay here and you have to go on Easter. My son, who is freaked out because I have to leave, it was so traumatic. Like, I can feel the emotion coming up, and I actually want it to. I want it to, because this is how you do this. I felt like the worst I could possibly ever have felt. I lost my dream job. I left my dreams, and I was going to be homeless. And I happened to have a credit card still that I knew, like, I wasn't going to be able to pay, but I could use it, like, for what I needed in that moment. So I rented a room at a Motel 6 that was close to my job, because I did actually I worked at Starbucks. I had like a part-time job at Starbucks that I had been able to get. And I went to the motel, and I felt so bad. And I got in the motel, and I closed the door, and I like put all my stuff on the floor, and sat down on the bed, and I was about to cry, but I didn't actually feel like crying, because all of a sudden I had the same feeling I had had when I first arrived in Los Angeles. And I moved into my hotel, because I stayed into a hotel when I first got there. And it was actually an incredible experience to live out of, away from my ex-husband, who had been an abuser, a controlling person, hovering person. And I had felt free, and I felt like I could do anything. I could go anywhere. I was so excited. It was like a fresh start. So when I got to that motel, that happened again. I remembered, I was like, no, this is good. This is how I felt when I got to Los Angeles. I felt like I could do anything and go anywhere, and I wasn't bound to anyone anymore, and nobody could control me. They couldn't say or do anything to me. All of those people were, and it was this moment of being like, those people are never going to be able to do this to me again. Now, my ex was able to control me with the court system for a while, but like his parents' opinions of me, like ever having to live, I never had to do that again. I had a fresh start. So you have to go do something similar. It's great if it can be even younger, like when you're 0 to 7. That happened to me in my 30s, but it's even better if I can go back to an earlier feeling, because that's probably going to have even more of a profound like effect on because I've carried it with me for so long. But regardless, you just need to find that, and you need to think about that. Now, what I just did in telling you that whole story, which took a long time, as I'm at 2 hours on the clock. But when I told that story and my emotions came up and my feelings came up, I wasn't talking about my person. I wasn't talking about that person contacting me, communicating with me. I wasn't talking about having to figure out like how to deal with the people that are wanting a piece of me, or those people being gone or dead or whatever. I wasn't talking about what's really going on right now. I was remembering when I had feelings like this and they ended. That's all I have to do, because my mind right now is stuck on this thing that it's not going to end. 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 And the only reason it's ending is because I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it. So you have to distract yourself from that, but give yourself the feelings that you would want to get, because you think you're going to feel better when all these mice stop begging for cheese. You're like, as soon as these fuckers don't come get, like, try to, steal my sunshine, I'm going to feel better. And the universe is like, no, your ego is telling you that. You have to feel that now, because that's always true. There is no future and there is no past. There is just now. And the way you emotionally react to all of the thoughts you're having now. So try to find a time in your life when you had as terrible of a situation. The people around you were not good, and you felt like it's 9:55. You felt like you couldn't get away from them, but then you did, and it was over. And those people, they've never been able to bother me again. My ex-husband had his, he had a few years of being an annoying thorn in my side. And then I realized that allowing him to be a thorn in my side was certainly giving him quite a lot of power. And so I stopped even letting him bother me. And now, I mean, it's pretty interesting how the interactions are. Like, it just has no effect on me. So it doesn't trigger me at all. Okay, Divine Feminine, your turn. The thing that you are thinking about, you can't stop thinking about, you're worried about it, you think about it over and over and over and over again, is this tree card, or the 7 of Hearts, 7 of Cups, which is also about like options, opportunities. But this is growth to me. And you just want a family also, because trees really have to do with family to me. You want the stability of the roots that come from a tree. You're thinking a lot about that. I want to lay down roots. I want to put down roots. I want to have a family. I want to grow. I want to expand. I want, and I don't know if this is going to happen or how it's going to happen or how to do it. Da, 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 da. Spirit is sending you this book energy. This is actually a card that is about information and opening a door. And it's also associated with painful endings, separations, being stuck, because it has the 10 of Swords embedded in it. Interesting. If you don't know anything, these are Lenormand cards. They're different from tarot. They're very interesting because they're kind of no nonsense. A tarot card is a free association card for me, where I'm like, this is a card, generally speaking, that's about communication, movement, and flow. And then I can kind of feel a lot of these things from here. But Lenormand is nouns and verbs. So if you have a tree, then we're thinking growing knowledge, right? Deeply rooted information. There's not a lot of it's this or that or this or that. And they put the numbers on it from cartomancy, like the 10 of diamonds, for instance. Oh, I'm sorry. This is 10 of pentacles. This is happiness, not separation. And the 7 of cups. So that when the way that it worked is Madame Lenormand was the psychic who was, she was like the court psychic for the royals during Napoleon Bonaparte's reign. And so she would read for Justine or Josephine and Napoleon. And she had some kind of a system that she revealed to this man, who was a Dutch man, actually. She didn't actually tell him what she did, but she told him how it worked. And basically, she would watch people playing cards, and then she assigned to the 10 of Pentacles, for instance, the book. The idea, when she would see the 10 of Pentacles, she would know that that meant book, information, data, whatever. And then when she saw the 7 of Cups, it would represent for her the tree, growing opportunities, expanding, whatever. So these little numbers are, if you memorize them, when somebody's playing cards and those cards come out, you can literally read their future. It was very uncanny because she didn't sit down and say, do you want me to read your cards? She would just socialize with the French court and, float around and play cards with people. And then she would have deep insight and be able to psychically tell them anything. And they would not understand that she was using these cards to confirm her intuition or whatever. So that's what the tale of Madame Lenormand is. And that's why the cards have these little cartomancy symbols on them. So this isn't an end. It is an end because it's a completion. 10 is a completion, but it's actually that everything that you desire, the material happiness, your fulfillment, it's been written in this book. Okay. It's already written down for you. Remember the divine plan card you got? It's in the works, divine feminine. That's what the universe is telling you. It is in the works. So you wrote it down. It's almost like if you wrote it if you have like a vision board, or you did you wrote down like, this is what my future is. The universe took note. Okay. So relax, but rather than think about what your family is going to look like, how it's going to be deeply rooted, how it's going to grow, when it's going to happen, you need to go general, just like we did with the last card, on this energy of the rider. This is information that's coming. I really took a good look at this card the other day when it came out after I was putting it away. Isn't it interesting that this person isn't facing forward as they ride? This horse is riding, but that person is still looking in the past. And I noticed that when I was looking at the card. I thought it was interesting. So I want you to think about a time when you wished for something to change, to happen, to begin. It can be any of those things I just said. Just something that you wished for a change in circumstance. And you were afraid that it wouldn't change because when you reflected upon the past, you had never seen anything that looked differently. But then you were surprised because the thing that you actually wished for did come to pass. And it actually came to pass a lot faster than you even thought it might. I could think like with my this apartment, when I was homeless, and I was reflecting upon like the months of homelessness, because I had experienced homelessness prior to coming to Los Angeles, back when I told you about it in Massachusetts, when I had to leave my ex-husband's family home, I did go through a period of homelessness. I was able to afford motels briefly, and then my brothers helped me get an apartment. So that is how I survived that bout of homelessness. But when I had the second bout of it, I remember wishing so much that it would be over, but reflecting on the past about like how it had happened before, and like the fears about, is it going to happen again? Is it going to keep happening? Like, you know, just really focused on that. But it did end. And part of the reason it ended, I think, is because I had already had the experience before and it had ended. So I actually had a reflection, if I looked back, that my discomfort did eventually end. So my brain had the wiring for that built in. And when I did finally get this apartment, it did happen very fast and it was very surprising. So I could think about that. I could think about that whole process. Again, that's not about my family growing or my person marrying me and having children with me or anything. It's literally about a time of stress that had happened to me before that then swiftly changed. So try to think of something similar to that. If you're having trouble doing this going general stuff and you need help with it, book a personal reading. And I will help you do this because this is extremely useful. It's extremely useful. When you think about what you want, you are always thinking about its opposite thing at the same time. You're thinking about how you don't have it. So rather than trying to manifest from a place where you just write endlessly about the person you want or something like that, it's better to just think about the feelings that you want to have. And then remember times when you felt that way as vividly as possible. Or if you're very imaginative and creative, imagine the feelings of the future. But if you try to imagine the feelings of the future with your person, you might get caught up in the fact that they're not here now. So you could even think about imagining, like you can make something up. You could write a story about your future where this happens to you, about something else completely. Probably you'll manifest it. Like if you find another area of your life that you wish would change, that's easier to think about. Like right for me, moving. Like I really want to move out of here, and it's really easy for me to think about that happening because I've done that before 2 times. So, or more than 2 times. So I could start thinking about that. Like I could imagine the feeling of what it is going to feel like, and I actually know it because one of my friends here has offered a sublet to me in April. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I remember what this feels like. So just start to feel those feelings. The thing that you need to look out for is, or that you don't see coming rather, is the Clover card or the Six of Pentacles. Reciprocity and good luck and good fortune. And this is the alignment of body, mind, and soul. It's the Trinity. So take that and do with that what you will. Thank you so much for being here with me today for 2 hours and 13 minutes. You know, I just love you. I can't stop talking. I have to stop now because I have a meeting at 11 o'clock. And I have other stuff to do today. Oh my God. But if you would like to book a personal reading, or if you just have questions for me, anything like that, please go ahead and go to pearlsprayers.com. You can find all of my contact info there. There's information in the description box below. I will be back on Wednesday for Obstacles Removed. Tuesday is my day off, so I don't read on Tuesdays. If I don't respond to your emails, please don't be offended. I will get back to you on Wednesday. I did see somebody had booked a reading for Friday. Thank you very much. I did see that in there and I just forgot to send your confirmation email, but I will do that afterwards, or after this. I will do it right after this. And but if you'd like to book readings, I have openings on Thursday. I still have a little bit of time left on Friday, but I have 1 reading booked already, so probably only have room for 1 more reading on Friday before I close it. And then of course you can join the membership if you want to see the Tell Me Everything spread that's going to be on Thursday this week. That is everything. Thank you so much for being here. I shall see you all on Wednesday. Have a glorious Monday. Take care. Let go. Imagine good things happening to you. I love you. Bye.